Hey everybody, so Friday evening here in Belleville Cove, after a long week's work of doing some sawmill work. I was off site here all week in another location there, milling some logs. It was pretty hot this week, and I finished that job yesterday. So today my uncle came over and we worked on the tractor. This afternoon we got the clutch back in. If you watched the other videos, we had the clutch out of it. We had the tractor split in two. So this afternoon we were able to put the clutch back in. We're putting the old clutch back in. It was still good. I'm still waiting for some parts to arrive, but I just canceled them and we're going to put the old clutch back in. So we went ahead and put that back together. That was all afternoon. We finished around supper time. It's still not mobile yet, but at least it used to be in two pieces. If you look at the pictures in the other videos, it's now in one piece. We can take a peek here, see what it looks like. So here's the tractor. It's back in one piece. I've got a couple clips there. I'll show you of how it all came together. We had to push the front back towards the back end, bolt it back together. This is where it connects together down here. And you have to frig around a little bit. We have to get the engine to turn a little bit so the shafts line up. There's a whole bunch of splines on the shafts there, and you got to get everything lined up perfectly for it to come back together. So anyway, she's back together now. And after a long week's hard work, I'm looking forward to a little bit of camping on the weekend. We're taking the family out with the camper and we're going camping for the weekend. So we're going to take a break and get at it first thing next week. We're going to connect all the electrical parts and put the coolant back in, the fluid back in, and put the loader arms back on and put it all back together. And get her going. So for anybody who's new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have ya. I enjoy making these videos. Hello to all the Belleville family out there. And I'm gonna make some future videos on finishing up this tractor, doing some more sawmilling. Probably later on I'm gonna talk about the family and the homestead and what goes on all around the house here. Some upgrades to the sawmill, some exciting things coming along, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. Glad to have you. It's pretty awesome to have a big shop to be able to work in out of the weather. Today it's a nice rainy day. We were able to come in here this afternoon and stay dry, and we got power. This is actually so I'm on the old homestead here. My grandfather built this homestead. And I'm actually in the barn. This used to be a great big barn, and it had cattle in it and horses, and had a big hayloft on the upstairs here. It's quite a big garage, so I, along with my dad, we put a cement floor, cement footings, and redid it all. There's still a lot of work to be done in it, but it's a nice big shop, and I'm able to, you know, got all my tools in here. I got the tractor in here. The tractor wouldn't fit, so as you can see up there, it's pretty tight. I had to get prop the ceiling up a little bit so the tractor would fit, so I can get her in the wintertime. But I got all my tools and my stuff in here, and it's a great big area to work in. I'm really fortunate to have this shop. A lot of people don't have areas to do work in and stuff. This is the main shop here. A little bit messy right now. Someday we'll organize this. We'll put some shelving up and do the walls up again. I plan to insulate it and put some insulation on the ceiling. on the walls. This isn't heated in the winter. What happens is, I'll show you guys, this is the main garage here where the tractor sits. And in the other part of the shop, in the garage I guess, this is my furnace room. So this actually, years ago, this is where the cattle and the horses were. And so they'd open up a flap in this wall, and from the other side they could feed hay and give the cows and stuff some feed. That's where the tractor sits on the other end. But this part I redid completely, insulated it. Usually have this packed with firewood for the winter. We'll do this over the summer, so we have this full of firewood for the winter. And this is my wood boiler right here. So I've got a chimney going out. So actually what goes on here, it's a setup I always wanted to have. I think I hooked it up about 15 years ago. This wood boiler, I have a chimney in it, and it's in the garage, and it's hot water. It's a hot water boiler. It actually heats my house. So I don't have any fire in the house. I don't have a furnace in the house. I don't have a chimney in the house. There's pretty much no danger to the wood heat that I use in the house. Actually, this is all in the garage. So no mess in the house, no firewood in the house, no chimney, no smoke, no anything of that. So usually I have this full of firewood. This fall I'll make another video when I'm doing firewood for it. And actually, so here's the boiler. And if you look over here, there's a couple of pipes there. And there's a big black pipe running down into the ground. And it runs underground to about 70 feet or so up to the house. So that boiler heats water, goes into my home, which is away from the garage. I've got nice in-floor heat on the main level, and baseboard heat upstairs, so really nice heat. And I did a lot of work to the house. I insulated it, you know, with really thick walls and stuff, so it heats really well. It's a huge home, but it heats nice. So, you know, the disadvantage, I got to come out into, you know, cold wintry night or morning. I got to get out of the house and come into the shop and make some fire. But it's a small, you know, it's a small thing to do to prevent any fire or anything going on in the house. I have a nice warm home, and all the mess is in the shop, which is great. So someday I'll hook up you know, some baseboard heaters to this furnace on the other side where I'm working on my tractor and stuff, but I wouldn't do that before I insulated it, put a new door and stuff. So yeah, pretty neat setup. Hooked this up about 10 or 12 years ago. Well, yeah, it could be a little more than that, but really nice setup. Works well. So still quite a fair amount of work to do to get this tractor back on the go. But the majority of the big work is done. It's back together. We got some bolts to put in, fuel to hook up. The exhaust has to be hooked up, a few air conditioning parts. Took the fuel tank out to repair it. That has to be put back together. The whole front end. I've got to, we put the starter in today. This is a starter. We put that in today, but I have to remove it again to be able to put a bolt where the housing connects together. So I'll remove that, put it back together. I've got a whole bunch of hydraulic hoses to hook back up. The inside of the cab. I've got to put the floor pan back on and put some electrical connections back together. But at least it's back together, right? So it's coming along. Morning everybody. So we're still at it here on the tractor. Yesterday midweek I went back to the Kioti dealer and returned that clutch disc. We decided, like a couple of videos ago I told you, we decided to put the old clutch back in. So we got it back together, and last night I worked on it a little bit here. So I got the all the air conditioning parts on. Hopefully that'll work. Got some new air conditioning lines, a condenser in there. Air conditioning line. Tractor's back together. Another new air conditioning line there on the compressor. Got all the fuel lines hooked back up, the wiring. Over on this side I got the starter put back in, the wiring for it. All the hydraulic lines, there's quite a few hydraulic lines down there. So I got that all back together. Bracket, since they started, ik heb er farsa met doodweer,
Må bra på passeren.
Det är jag.
Litt sånn.
Well, mostly it's been hit hard day.
Så det actually mjukla för mjuk.
Morning, everybody. Saturday morning. Hopefully today's the day we get this tractor going. Got a few things to do this morning. We're gonna put the loader brackets on and hopefully fuel it up and get it going. And today we can have this thing mobile. Got the foreman on today. Say hi, Buster. So he'll be watching me and observing, make sure everything goes well. like they say, hard work pays off. We're finally mobile in the tractor. 2 months later. But you learn everything along the way. When you have a lot of machinery, you're bound to get some breakdowns. There's ups and downs in life. So anyway, we got her back on the go today. She seems to be running fine. I just finished cleaning her up, giving her a good wash, and I cleaned the inside of it. Just giving her a little test drive here in the back field. So it was a long process, but you know, everything for a $5 seal. On oil seal, that was $4.95 caused this issue, but you know, big mechanical breakdown, that's what happens, right? So had I known I couldn't get some of the parts, I would have just replaced them with the older ones, and that's what I ended up doing anyway. So anyway, no harm, no foul. Had the old tractor available, used that. So we got the old girl back on the go. So it's a nice Saturday evening here in Belleville Cove. I don't know if you saw the nice sunset there. We had a beautiful day here. The wind was calm all day. The ocean behind me was dead, like a mirror all day. Don't get too many of those days. It was a really nice day. Anyway, thanks for being patient and watching these videos. It's been a long haul to re-repair, I guess, this tractor. But we've got her on the go again, and that's not all we're going to make videos on, just tractors. We're going to do some lumber sawing. We got some little adventures coming up as well. And a lot of exciting things coming along here this summer and the fall. And we're going to do some great stuff. Hope you come along. Have a great evening. See you later.